Most families want to fix a place up before selling their inherited home. And here's the truth. Every dollar that you spend should give you $2 back or more. If it's not doing that, you're really just donating to your contractor's next vacation. My name's Scott Stollar, and I've created a path through my own personal loss to help people find clarity when inheriting real estate. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see is people pouring tons of money into a home that they inherited before they sell. The biggest problem with this is that oftentimes people think that they're going to get more by doing a bunch of busy work to the home themselves. And there are a few exceptions. If you're a professional interior designer, a professional contractor, you may have some tools that many people don't. We'll get to that more later. But it's important to keep in mind that if you're not, and you're just thinking that you're going to improve a home that you inherited and sell it for more, it's important to watch this so that you know where to spend the money so that you don't waste any money or time. I see it all the time where people inherit a home and they say, I watch HGTV, I would love to fix this place up. That wall needs to be that color. This needs to look like that. This tile would be amazing. And although they've gotten something that's great for their personal taste, it's not what buyers are looking for. So how do we make sure that the money that you spend isn't just helping you heal and helping you grieve, and it's actually getting you somewhere? One of the most important things to do before getting involved in a big project like fixing up a home before you sell it is to reach out to me so that we can take a look at what the home's worth right now in its current condition versus what it will be worth once you've fixed it up. Many people are surprised that when you sell it on the open market, you can actually get a number close enough to where fixing up the home doesn't make sense. There are a few different situations though that makes that not true. Let's say if there's major termite damage, or if you have a cracked foundation and you have some issue that prevents the home from qualifying for a loan. If the home can't get a loan on it from the new buyer, you're stuck in a situation where only an investor would have the tools to come in and fix it up. You could try to fix it up yourself, but you'll need the funds to pay that contractor who helps you with those major things like new roofs, fix cracked foundations before you sell the home. When you're thinking about flipping a home that you inherited yourself, it's important to remember that you're not flipping memories, you're flipping a home to make more money. So it's not emotional, it's purely about money at that point. And one of the easiest ways to help make sure that you're doing this right and that you have the numbers going in your favor before you even pick up that first bucket of paint from Home Depot, schedule a free clarity call. That's exactly what we go over. It takes 30 minutes. It's on Zoom. Everyone in your group can be present and ask all the questions you want, and you'll clearly see what the home's worth if you sell it as is, what it's worth if you sell it in fixed up condition, and what it looks like if you decide you're not even going to sell it, you just want to rent it out. And even if you think you don't want to do anything to it, we'll help you look at that as well. The highest return on any upgrades surprises most people. It's light bulbs. Shortly behind that is paint. If you're doing light, neutral colors like a bone white, and you create a blank canvas for the new buyer, you have updated light fixtures that look modern and pretty but fit the space, you'll instantly add appeal to the home right there. You also want to put in floors that flow. When you have multiple flooring surfaces, it makes a home look patchwork and like it needs more work than it actually does. If you have time to replace carpet or to put in luxury vinyl plank, engineering wood, or something like that, you'll get a great return for your money if you're able to do it. If you can't paint the floors and they're all marked up and dirty and have a lot of accent colors, but you can fix the floor, or you could do one or the other, I would paint the walls first. Start with a blank slate, and it will make it less clashy to the eyes, and it will automatically look like there's less work to be done. The next item to pay attention to is curb appeal. Now, we're not just talking about planting a row of pretty annuals in front. I'm talking about the things that don't cost as much money, like maybe painting the front door, doing a quick pressure wash, and making sure that everything outside is as clean and tidy as possible. Get rid of the loose pots that are broken or that are laying around, the branch that may have fell last winter. Clean it up. Make it look presentable. It doesn't mean that you need to spend tons of money going out and buying new plants and doing a whole new landscape project. To the contrary, clean up what you have, paint the accents, and it will make a huge impact for you. Oftentimes, I see in this aspect, people invest $300 or $500, and it makes such a difference on buyers' perceptions. Another place where you'll get the highest return for your work is kitchens and baths. I'm not telling you to completely rip out the kitchen and bath. This is actually one area that I think you should use some caution in, because it's very easy to just go to the retail stores if you're not a licensed contractor and you don't have hookups and spend way too much money way too fast that you'll never get back. You may even lose money on it. So it's really important to watch your dollars when you're looking at projects like kitchens and baths. The smart approach may be to paint the cabinets if that's an option, add new hardware, and do a deep clean to the appliances. And to wrap up that list on the highest return of investment, anytime you're selling an inherited home, especially if it's one that you didn't live in yourself, it's important to get a pre-sale inspection done. This helps you in a few ways. Number one, you can know before you put it on the market, before you spend any money, if there are major mechanical issues that you need to pay attention to. Maybe you don't have money to make the home pretty because you find out that you actually need a new roof, and that's going to add more value than painting anything. Also, keep in mind that there are a few things that I mentioned that if you could do yourself are low or no cost. Now let's talk about the things that no one mentions that you should never do to a home that you inherited before you sell it. No full remodels. Unless you have the resources to get materials at wholesale and you have great relationships with contractors, or you're a contractor or designer yourself, stay away from the full remodel. Reason being is that many unexpected things happen when you start ripping things apart. This causes delays, more expenses, and you may not be able to get reimbursed from the estate if you personally pay for that. Also, just because your personal taste thinks that something would be amazing in a home doesn't mean that you should do it. Those accent wall colors or things that are questionable if a buyer will really like can make a huge difference in the amount that you spend versus the amount that you get back. Also, if your home's in probate, like I said a minute ago, you may not get reimbursed for all of the stuff that you do to the home or any of it. I think it's really interesting when I have buyers come into an open house of an inherited home that I'm selling, and you hear people's comments, especially now, where they see something that maybe needs paint, or maybe we got a great inspection, the home's in tip-top shape, but it does need new flooring and it needs paint. It's crazy to see how much work buyers think it's going to take or cost to make it really nice. I often hear buyers complain that all the homes that are turnkey are flips. And there's a reason for that. To make something updated, ready for the current style and markets, takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of efforts. Remodels can strain relationships even in the best of times. So if you're remodeling a home right when you're dealing with grief, you could be setting yourself up for even more stress and tests to your relationships. So 3 things to keep in mind before you decide to do anything. Figure out what your timeline is. How long do you have to get this stuff done? And how long do you have before you need to put the home on market or get a tenant living in there? The second, who's my buyer? Who's likely to live in this home once I get it for sale? Am I in an area where the average home is worth X amount when I have it completely remodeled? And to remodel it, I need to charge even more than most people pay in that neighborhood for a home just to recoup my costs. You need to keep those things in mind. And most importantly, what's your emotional bandwidth? Sometimes projects help us when we grieve. And it's best when those projects keep our minds busy and occupied in the current moment rather than being occupied with stressful timelines and expectations of yourself or others. The projects that help you while you're grieving and digesting everything should help you process, not create more stress. Ask yourself if you're trying to turn the home that you inherited into something for HGTV, or you're trying to beat a flipper around the corner. Keep in mind that when flippers flip homes, they're professionals at it. They have a lot of resources and access to items that most people don't because they have long-term working relationships with people. They also understand the market and look at it in a different eye. In some regards, they try to gamble on what the market's going to look like in a few months when they're ready to sell. They also gamble that the project's going to be completed by a certain timeline. And again, because they have those relationships with those contractors, they can often have those contractors at their homes full time while they're completing that contractor's portion of the project, because they have those great relationships with them. If a contractor needs to juggle your job and someone else's, that can add to timelines in unexpected ways. So it's important when you're thinking about doing this, remodeling a home that you inherited to get the most for it, really understand what your intention is as you do that. If you're sitting on an inherited home, wondering if you should fix it up or just sell it the way that it is, hit me up. That's exactly why I crafted the clarity call. We go over all of that so that you're moving forward on clarity rather than just your emotions, so that you understand how the actions you take support the goals in the future that you want to create. Because in the midst of all the chaos of losing a loved one, it is a new beginning. You have to get used to the new normal. But the one cool part is that people don't realize in the heat of it is that it gives you the chance to create the life that you want. So jump on that clarity call so we could figure out how this could support you in creating the life that you want to live.